protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's time for Money Unleashed with Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn.
You have to have a plan where you know if the market's going to go up, what happens next. And you also have to have a plan where if it doesn't go the way you think, you know what you're going to do.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
I'm not trying to predict the weather, which is kind of what we're talking about, right? It's predicting the stock market. I'm trying to build a better boat.
This is Money Unleashed with Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn.
Welcome to the Money Unleashed podcast with Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn. We are the vice presidents of Hoffman Financial Group. We've got new episodes for you on Monday and Friday. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Kyle, what we're going to talk about now is the 4% rule. So let's just start from the beginning. So it's funny, the guy behind the 4% rule now thinks it's way too low. And we've been talking about this for a long time. I agree with him. So where did the 4% rule come from? From a gentleman called Bill Bengen. He's the creator, and it first appeared in 1994 in a study that he conducted for the Journal of Financial Planning. And it basically states that retirees should be able to withdraw 4% from their savings and investments annually, and by using that formula, a retiree could live 30 years without running out of money. And that sounds great in theory, but there's things that the 4% rule doesn't account for. A is inflation. And if you don't pay attention to this stuff, it can really damage your financial plan. Think about that for a second. If you've got $1 million, Kyle, and use the 4% rule, that means that you're able to take $40,000 out a year to supplement your pensions and Social Securities to live in retirement. I don't know a whole lot of millionaires who want to just take 4% out a year. I would argue it's more. We run into people where they've got, very nice lifestyles. They want to keep that up. I would argue that the 4% rule is dead because it doesn't make any sense. If you need more money and you're taking out more than 4%, they're basically saying you're going to run out of money faster. There's ways to get around that, isn't there, Kyle?
Well, just take the concept that you just introduced, which is this guy wrote this in 1994.
Yep.
So as you were talking, I just pulled up what was the GDP, the gross domestic product of the United States in 1994. It was $7.28 trillion. Well, what is it today? So you look at what it was last year, it was $29.2 trillion. So we live in a wildly different economic reality
Correct.
in 2025 as we did in 1994. So we look back in the future and we say, okay, this concept exists. I think it just needs to be adjusted over time. So one of the things we talk about with clients is the textbook said 3, Mr. Bill said 4. With most clients, we're pushing more 5%, 6%. But the key here, and you talked about it in your discussion there, is it's customized to the person, because if somebody comes in and they say, hey, I'm looking at the reality of, I'm 70 years old, I've got 20 years left, I think I'm going to live to 90. I don't feel like I'm in a position where 3 or 4 is enough. I need to use more out of these assets. And oh, by the way, I don't have any kids. I don't have any heirs. I don't care about legacy. Okay, well, that's wildly different than a client that comes in at, say, 65 and they say, hey, I've got 4 kids and I need to make sure they're taken care of from a legacy concept on the backside. So it is extremely important that when you're looking at distribution and you're looking at retirement, you're not just considering the magic number, right? Sometimes we talk about this on the show, which is, I've got 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. It's not just the assets. It's also the way the assets behave with the other things. Of course, those other things are things like Social Security. Those other things are things like pensions. Those other things are things like inheritance. More and more, we're seeing Generation X come into the office. Well, they're starting to get an inheritance. One of the things we've talked about many times on the show is the baby boomer generation picked up about $4 trillion in inheritance, but Generation X and Generation Millennial, they're picking up $50, $60 trillion in inheritance. So what is your inheritance? When are you going to take Social Security? What are the tax ramifications of your choice of income amount? What does your pension look like? What does your Social Security look like? All these little things kind of bumping into each other and creating the soup of retirement. You've got to be able to figure that out. So it's not just as easy as take 4%. You've got to get in there. You've got to dig it out. But here's the good news. That is exactly what we do at the Hoffman Financial Group. We learn about your family, we learn about your life, and as fiduciaries, we start going through the process of designing an income plan. That way you can live confidently in this thing called retirement.
So here's what's interesting, because, I love it when these guys come up with these theories, but they're constantly watching it and they change their minds sometimes because, life changes, right? It's foolish to think that everything stays the same. It doesn't. It always changes. So Mr. Bengen, who's now 77 years old, he had a moment of clarity a few years back and he told MarketWatch, wait a minute, I've been putting stock returns first. What if I put inflation as the most important thing? He goes, well, In the minute I did that, it all fell together. Years of failure just evaporated in just a few minutes, and it was one of the most remarkable moments of my life. So I gotta give credit to Mr. Bill here. Back in maybe 94, that was a very valid rule. But money's changed, our economy's changed, people's spending habits have changed, and he was man enough to say, hey, I could have been wrong on this. I was putting stocks first, and maybe it's inflation that's the problem. That has a big effect on how much your dollars go in retirement as well, too. So I would argue better late than never to managing this 4% rule. But this is what I know. Most people want more than 4%. They're looking at 6 or 7 or sometimes even 8%, the supplement pensions and Social Securities. You have to find ways to recreate your income to give you those types of results. And I got news for everybody. If you're using the typical Wall Street model of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, that's going to seem extremely difficult to accomplish. Like, if you got a dividend portfolio, let's say you're getting 3.5% off that dividend portfolio, which is a completely normal dividend portfolio, and it's cyclical. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, but you're getting that 3.5%. Well, that's less than the 4% rule, so that's not going to get the job done. And where's the rest going to be coming from? It's not bonds. Bonds aren't spitting out money right now. It's going to be coming from stock market and gains. And that's a very dangerous game, Kyle, when you're playing that in retirement, because you can't have a green day be a good day and a red day be a bad day. Like if you have a first quarter like this and you're pulling more and more shares out to accomplish your income, that's going to be a problem because you're not going to see the number that makes you feel so comfortable when the markets are going back up again to take advantage of that in retirement. And it's about making sure you have an income plan that is not drawing your accounts down and giving you the money that you need to succeed and have that lifestyle you need in your retirement. And we do that for people every single day, putting together income plans that are no cost and no obligation to you. Kyle, how exactly do we do this?
Yeah, Eric's talking about sequence of return. He's talking about taking distribution out of your money. So whether you've got $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, you're looking at distribution, and this idea of sequence of return will get you. It will bite you. You can easily see that a portfolio making 9% return, as far as accumulation is concerned, is better than a portfolio that makes a 4% return. But how about if you're taking money each year out of those accounts? That's known as sequencing. That's known as sequence of return. So one of the things we're walking you through is looking at the distribution strategies and what the effect is on your portfolio. For most people, they fear that they've built up this portfolio and they're going to drain it over the next 15, 25, or 35 years. The good news is, for a lot of clients, we're not only sending a paycheck, but we are growing your money. And all you got to do is come in, sit down, have a cup of coffee, and we'll walk you through how that success can be yours.
Give us a call, 404-640-5511. That's 404-5511. Or you can find us online at unleashyourmoney.com.
Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn are investment advisor representatives of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A, item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.